Have you ever wondered if the most beautiful tapestries are woven not with threads of joy, but the strong, enduring fibers of sorrow? Margot, at 82, knew the answer. She lived alone in a lighthouse perched precariously on the edge of the North Sea. The salt spray kissed the glass, blurring the already hazy horizon. Inside, the air hung thick with the scent of beeswax and old paper. This wasn't just a home, it was a reliquary of a life lived fully, a life punctuated with both devastating storms and fleeting glorious sunrises. Margot wasn't born to the sea. Her youth unfolded in the sun-drenched vineyards of the Loire Valley. She remembered the laughter of her siblings echoing through the rows of grapes, the sweet perfume of fermenting wine, the callous hands of her father, a symphony of warmth and belonging. Then came the war, a dissonant chord that shattered the melody. The vineyard was ravaged, her family scattered, and the laughter replaced with unbearable silence. She met Jean-Luc in the aftermath, a young soldier with eyes that colored the summer sky and a spirit that refused to be extinguished. He was a painter, capturing the resilience of nature on canvases filled with vibrant hues. He painted Margot, too, her sorrowful eyes reflecting the faint glimmer of hope he saw within. They married amidst the ruins, a defiant act of love in a world consumed by despair. Jean-Luc dreamed of the sea. He spoke of its immensity, its power to both destroy and create, its constant rhythm a mirror to the human heart. He promised Margot a life beyond the shadows, a life bathed in the restorative light of the ocean. And so, after the war, they bought the lighthouse. It was dilapidated, its lamp long extinguished. But Jean-Luc saw its potential, its inherent strength. He envisioned it as their beacon, a symbol of their unwavering love. They spent their days rebuilding it, stone by painstaking stone. Jean-Luc resurrected the lamp, its beam cutting through the darkest nights, guiding lost ships to safety. Margot cultivated a small garden, a riot of colors amidst the stark landscape. They were happy, a quiet, resilient happiness born from the ashes of their past. But fate, it seemed, wasn't finished with them. A rogue wave, a monstrous, unforgiving surge of water, crashed against the lighthouse one stormy night. Jean-Luc was swept away, swallowed by the angry sea he so loved. Margot was left alone, the lighthouse a monument to her grief. For years she lived in a daze, the foghorn her constant companion, a mournful echo of her despair. She considered abandoning the lighthouse, returning to the familiar comfort of the Loire Valley. But something held her back. Was it loyalty to Jean-Luc's memory? Or a stubborn refusal to let the sea claim her too? One day a letter arrived. It was from a young woman named Annalise, a sailor who had navigated by the lighthouse's beam during a particularly treacherous storm. She wrote of her gratitude, of how the steady light had guided her through the darkness, saving her life and the lives of her crew. She ended the letter with a simple question: who keeps the light burning? Margot stared at the letter, her wrinkled hands trembling. It was Jean-Luc's light, but it was also hers. It was a beacon of hope in a world often shrouded in darkness. It was a testament to the enduring power of love, even in the face of unimaginable loss. She began to see her grief differently. It wasn't a weight to be carried, but a wellspring of empathy, a source of strength. She understood the sailors who sought the lighthouse's guidance, their own lives battered by storms, their own hearts yearning for solace. She started to write, filling notebooks with her memories, her sorrows, her hard-won wisdom. She wrote of Jean-Luc, of his art, his dreams, his unwavering love. She wrote of the vineyard, of the war, of the resilience of the human spirit. She wrote for Annalise, for the sailors, for herself. Her stories flowed from the lighthouse like the beam of light, reaching out across the vast expanse of the sea, touching lives in ways she never imagined. Fishermen shared her stories in taverns, travelers read them by the fire, and young lovers whispered them under the stars. Margot became known as the keeper of stories, her lighthouse a haven for those seeking comfort and inspiration. One day, a young artist arrived at the lighthouse. His name was Etienne, and he carried a worn canvas bag filled with paints and brushes. He had read Margot's stories and felt drawn to the lighthouse, to the woman who had transformed her grief into art. Etienne asked Margot to tell him about Jean-Luc, about his paintings, about his love for the sea. As Margot spoke, Etienne began to paint. He captured the rugged beauty of the coastline, the turbulent dance of the waves, the unwavering strength of the lighthouse. He painted Margot, too, her face etched with the marks of time and sorrow, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of a life lived fully. As he painted, Etienne asked Margot a question. "Do you ever regret choosing this life, this lonely existence by the sea?" Margot paused, her gaze drifting out to the horizon. The sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a breathtaking spectacle of light and shadow. "Regret?" she echoed, her voice soft. "No, I don't regret it. The sea took Jean-Luc, but it also gave me a purpose. It taught me the true meaning of resilience. It showed me that even in the darkest of nights, a single light can make all the difference." Etienne continued to paint, capturing the essence of Margot's words on his canvas. He realized that the lighthouse wasn't just a structure of stone and glass. It was a vessel of hope, a testament to the power of love, a beacon of wisdom in a world desperately searching for meaning. He eventually left, carrying with him not just a painting, but a profound understanding of the human heart. He knew that the most beautiful art wasn't always found in museums or galleries, but in the lives of ordinary people who had found a way to transform their pain into something extraordinary. Years passed, and Margot continued to live in the lighthouse, her stories reaching further and wider, her light shining brighter than ever. But her spirit remained strong. She knew that her time was near, that the sea would eventually claim her too. One morning she woke to find the lighthouse shrouded in a dense fog. The foghorn blared, its mournful sound echoing through the stillness. Margot climbed to the top of the lighthouse, to the lamp room, her heart filled with a strange sense of peace. She looked out at the swirling fog, at the unseen sea, and whispered a final message: never lose hope. Even in the darkest of storms, there is always a light to guide you home. With that, she closed her eyes and smiled, ready to surrender to the embrace of the sea. The next morning, the fog lifted, revealing a sky of dazzling blue. The lighthouse stood tall and proud, its light shining brightly across the water. Margot was gone, but her stories remained, etched in the hearts of all who had known her. Annelise, the sailor whose life Margot had saved, returned to the lighthouse. She found Etienne's painting, the one that captured Margot's essence, her sorrow, her wisdom. She hung it in the lamp room, so that all who visited would know the story of the keeper of stories, the woman who had transformed her grief into a beacon of hope. And so the lighthouse continued to shine, its light a constant reminder that even in the face of unimaginable loss, even in the darkest of nights, the human spirit can endure, and that the most beautiful tapestries are often woven with the strongest fibers of sorrow. The lighthouse still stands a testament to the enduring power of love, loss, and the stories that bind us together. It asks us to consider, what is the most radiant light born not from the absence of shadows, but from the very heart of darkness itself? What legacies are built not upon the evasion of pain, but upon the courage to meet it head on, to transform it into wisdom, and to share that wisdom with the world?